In a small, conservative town where traditions and appearances meant everything, there lived a woman named Selina, whose life was shaped by a toxic blend of family influence, societal expectations, and her own struggles with identity and love. Selina came from a deeply rooted family of witches and warlocks, steeped in a Luciferian belief system. Her family wielded power through manipulation, control, and dark magic, often masking their actions with charm and superficial unity. But behind the facade, they were deeply fractured, a lineage of narcissists who thrived on ego and dominance. Among them was her cousin, Elena, who had been the first to shatter Selina's self-worth. Growing up, Elena preyed on Selina's vulnerabilities, leaving deep scars that would haunt her well into adulthood. Despite the toxicity of her upbringing, Selina sought a life of light and love, yearning to escape the darkness that consumed her family. She met Isaiah, a kind-hearted man from a humble background. Isaiah came from a deeply spiritual family, grounded in Christian faith, who believed in forgiveness, humility, and hard work. He was the first in his family to rise above poverty, building a life of integrity and success. Selina saw in Isaiah a chance to break free from her past, a love that could redeem her soul. But Isaiah's family did not approve of Selina. To them, she was a woman with a shadowed past, unworthy of their son. They whispered behind closed doors, labeling her as come from the gutter, despite her efforts to rise above her circumstances. Isaiah, torn between his family's expectations and his love for Selina, chose to let her go. He told himself it was for the best, for her sake and his. But deep down, he knew he was making the choice to please his family rather than following his heart. Selina, devastated and abandoned, found herself spiraling back into the clutches of her family's influence. Her cousin Elena introduced her to a man who seemed like a safe escape. This man, Troy, was charming on the surface but shared the same Luciferian roots as Selina's family. Elena had orchestrated the relationship, knowing Troy would serve the family's interests. Troy was a warlock in disguise, skilled in deception and control. He lured Selina in, promising love and stability, but instead, he exploited her pain and insecurities. What Selina didn't realize was that Troy's interest in her was never genuine. He sought to extract information about Isaiah, his virtues, his beliefs, and his success. Troy wanted to emulate Isaiah's light, attempting a perverse form of a destiny swap. Under Troy's influence, Selina descended into a life of chaos. She endured emotional manipulation, betrayal, and even infidelity. Troy cheated openly, using Selina as a means to an end while she struggled to maintain the illusion of a relationship. Meanwhile, Isaiah's life was no easier. He had married another woman, the mother of his children, hoping to create a stable home for his kids. But the relationship was riddled with problems. His wife, driven by selfishness and infidelity, betrayed him repeatedly. She offered little help with their children, leaving Isaiah overwhelmed and regretful. He realized he had traded a chance at true love for a hollow image of family and stability. Isaiah's nights were plagued by thoughts of Selina. He regretted letting her go, haunted by the what-ifs. He wondered what life would have been like had he stood up to his family and fought for the woman he loved. Though he tried to make peace with his choices, the negativity surrounding him, his family's constant judgment, his wife's betrayals was suffocating. He felt trapped in a life that no longer reflected his values or desires. Selina, too, was consumed by regret. She realized that Troy had only been a mirror of her family's darkness, a reflection of her unresolved wounds. Her nights were filled with tears as she replayed the moments when Isaiah had looked at her with pure love, only to see that love extinguished by societal expectations. Selina's life with Troy was a battlefield of manipulation and lies. He drained her energy, leaving her hollow and broken. Yet, in her darkest moments, she began to see the truth. She had allowed herself to be a pawn in a game orchestrated by her family and Troy. One night, Selina knelt in her room, the weight of her choices pressing down on her. She prayed not to the dark forces her family worshipped, but to the creator she had ignored for so long. She begged for forgiveness, for a chance to start anew. She knew she could never go back to Isaiah, but she could find redemption by breaking free from the chains that bound her. Isaiah, on the other hand, found solace in his faith. He forgave Selina in his heart, recognizing that they had both been victims of circumstances beyond their control. He prayed for her, hoping she would find her way to the light. Though his life remained complicated, he began to rebuild himself, finding peace in his children and his spiritual growth. Selina and Isaiah's paths never crossed again, but their stories served as a powerful testament to the consequences of living for others' approval. Selina learned that the true battle was not against Troy or her family, but against the shadows within herself. And Isaiah discovered that true strength lies in forgiveness and the courage to follow one's heart, even when the world stands in opposition. Their tale is a reminder that love, though fragile, can heal even the deepest wounds when it is rooted in truth and faith. But when love is compromised by societal pressures, family expectations, or personal fears, it becomes a lesson sometimes painful, but always necessary for growth and self-discovery.